What happens when we multiply one monomial by another? Suppose we want to multiply the monomial 4x squared y times the monomial 1/2 xy cubed to z. Well, we can use the properties of multiplication here. First, we can use the associative property to drop these parentheses. Then we can use the commutative property to rearrange the factors. I'd like to rearrange the factors so that I have all the numbers together, all the x's together, all the y's together, and I've only got the one z, so it'll be together with itself. But now using the associative property again, what do I get? Well, with the numbers I'll have 4 times 1/2, which is 2. X squared times x to the first, that's 2 copies of x multiplied together, and then 1 more copy of x. So that'll be x cubed. 1 copy of y, and then 3 more copies of y. So that'll be y to the 4th. And then just z. It might be helpful to us to remember some of the rules for exponents, namely that when we multiply together 2 powers of the same thing, we add the exponents. Right? Here I have m copies of the variable x. Here I have n copies of the variable x. I put them next to each other. How many do I have? I have m plus n of them. Of course, it's also helpful to remember that if one of the powers is 1, right, if there's no exponent, it's invisibly 1. I just add the 1 to the other exponent. So what do we do when we multiply 2 monomials? We use the properties of multiplication to rearrange, and then we use the properties of exponents to multiply. And that's all there is to it. Now, do we necessarily write out the gory details of all these steps? Usually not. How do we usually write this out? So suppose we want to multiply these 2 monomials. We'll start by multiplying the numbers. 7 times 1/3. Well, that's actually pretty easy. That's going to be 7/3. Then here I have an x squared times an x. So I'll have 1, 2, 3 x's multiplied together. I'll have x to the 3rd. Here I have a squared times a to the 4th. How many a's multiplied together does that give me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A to the 6th. Then I'll have b to the 5th. That's my only b. And finally, my last, I have a y to the 4th. That's my only y. So what's the product of these monomials? 7/3 x cubed, a to the 6th, b to the 5th, y to the 4th. I'm going to give you one of these to try as well. Multiply these 2 monomials together. Pause the video and try this now. Alright, well, I'll multiply my coefficients. -2 times +3 will be -6. I'll multiply x to the 1st times x squared. That's going to be x cubed. Y cubed is my only y factor, so I have y cubed. Z cubed is my only z factor, so I'll have z cubed. And that's it. This is the product of these 2 monomials.